Good morning, my friends. Welcome back. My name is Michelle. Thank you for joining me today. And we are going to kit down some extra drills that I ended up with. So the way that I store all of my extra drills, I ordered, this is actually a baseball card container, right? And it's got these sleeves in them. And I've got all of my divider tabs. I ordered all of this off of Amazon. It was probably all total with the baseball card holder, the extra dividers, the little number stickers. It was probably like $50. And then I went and bought some contact paper and just kind of prettied up the tops and the edges. And there is tape here holding each of these pieces together. It's just black electrical tape. I did tape down the sides and the back, which is partially why I wanted the contact paper to cover it up and make it, pretty. But also the contact paper helps hold it all together into one solid unit. Because I didn't want to have to hunt around for a bunch of different like photo boxes or what have you. So it was worth it to me to have one unit. Everything stays in one place. And I don't have to go searching for anything. So we're gonna go ahead and kit down some of these. I've already laid them out in order, so we can go ahead and get started. Now, I do not necessarily have bags for everything. So like this first number that we're gonna run into, I do not have a bag set up for. And I just use a spare pin to put in the spot where I need to hold for my drills. But if I don't already have a bag for these, then I go ahead and just make one on the spot. It's not that big of a deal. And I have a little baggy bag, I guess is what I call it. I have a little setup ready to go that I just keep in my drawer, and it's got my spare bags, it's got my stickers, it's got my pen. I usually have dryer sheets in here, and yes, I do. And I also have some dryer sheets in the drawer if I need those as well. And this is, kitting up and kitting down is not one of my favorite activities. Usually my husband will do this with me. And it makes it go really fast and we have a good time. But for the sake of doing it with you guys, 6, 7, 6. I'm doing this, on camera today, and he is not ready to be on camera, regardless of how helpful he is. So that's okay. He is not required to be, and so I am doing this alone. Now, stay. Last night we were sitting here. Now, what do you guys usually do while you diamond paint? Like, I don't know if I've heard of anyone who just like sits in absolute silence and diamond paints. Usually we will listen to an audiobook, and we are currently on the Joe Dillard series. It's by Scott Pratt, and we also really like the Nate Shepherd series. I cannot for the life of me think of who that is right this second. And we thought about checking out The Southern Lawyer. We haven't actually decided on that one yet. And then I ran across a book series last night called Widow. At least I think that's what it was called. And that one is new enough in my brain that I cannot tell you who it's by. But it was recommended to me because I love the Lee Child series. Jack Reacher is one of my favorite book characters. And it was one of those, like, if you're a fan of Jack Reacher, you'll be a fan of this. And so I think I'm gonna run that by my husband and see if he has any interest in trying that out. He will watch the Jack Reacher television show with me, but I don't believe I've ever talked him into actually reading the Jack Reacher series. We both, because we have, full-time jobs and full-time children and full-time, everything else, we have limited amounts of time that we can spend reading physical books. And he is more of a, historical fiction buff, and so I don't believe I've ever successfully talked him into reading one of the Jack Reacher novels. So it is what it is. Ooh, I already have a bag for that one. And that's okay. He doesn't need to read everything that I read just because. But we do really enjoy listening to our audiobooks. I will diamond paint, he'll play his video games, and we have a good time. And we'll pause and talk about the books, and we'll kind of eyeball each other when things happen that we're like, did they just really do that? But we're also into the murder, mystery, and makeup videos on YouTube. So we'll listen to those while we do our various hobbies. And anyway, I super digress. So last night we were sitting here and he brought up whether or not I had seen this older sci-fi movie called Sling Blade. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I've ever watched the whole thing because I am notorious for falling asleep during movies. And he brings up a character and he's like, this actor played this character. And I'm like, I don't remember that actor being in that movie. Not that that's a big shock. But, and then he brought up somebody else, and I'm like, I don't remember that either. And he, was like, why don't you tell me about the movie you're thinking of? And I'm like, okay, well, there's this guy, like, it's the Raiders of the Lost Ark guy, and some orange-haired girl, and he's like, that's the Fifth Element. And I'm like, okay. And or no, he was that Bruce Willis, I think, was in the Fifth Element. And I'm like, okay, but there was like the Raiders of the Lost Ark guy in there, and he like he fell asleep and realized he was a replicant or something. And my husband was like, that's this other movie. And I was like, okay, at this point, I don't know if I've even seen the movie that we originally started talking about, because nothing is like, nothing that I'm mentioning is working the way that it's not at all what I thought it was. And so, I'm like, okay, well, what about these other movies? And so he brings up the Oh God series, which I didn't realize was a series. I thought there was one of them. And he was like, yeah, John Ritter was in it. And I'm like, that's the guy that sang Country Roads Take Me Home. And he almost throws his video game controller on the couch, and he just stares at me for a second, and he's like, that's John Denver. And I was like, look. And I can't even justify at that point, right? I am trying so hard to make this okay, and it's just not okay at all. And we were laughing so hard, and he was like, I swear I am not making fun of you. And it's okay if you do, because this whole conversation is just ridiculous. And so I was like, well, when's the last time I got to just sit down and watch TV? And he's like, well, I don't know. It's been a while. And I'm like, right, because every time I try to sit down and watch TV, somebody's playing video games, or, somebody's already watching TV. Sorry about that yawn, by the way. I'm gonna do it again. Or somebody's already watching an episode of something or whatever. And I'm like, I just don't have an opportunity to watch very much television. And that's okay. I don't, are these my rounds? Open? Yes, these are my rounds. I don't begrudge that. I don't mind that. That's not a big deal to me. But I'm like, so in my defense, I can't always remember who does what, because I don't, it's just not something I do. And he's dying in his chair. He is just, this is the funniest thing that's happened. And we were tired when we were doing this, so it was really funny. And my oldest teenager had come up kind of in the middle of this conversation. Sorry, I had to pause for hydration. And she's like, is that directed at somebody? And that just made us laugh even harder because it was like, no, like we were having this what we thought was, you know, an intelligent conversation, and it just sort of devolved into nothing. And so I kind of gave her the rundown like I just did for you guys. And she just kind of looked at me and was like, oh, and like walks away. And that made us just go that much harder. Because seriously, we were losing it. We decided at that point that maybe it was time for bed. Which was great because then that meant I finally got to film last night. I love weekends. I love spending time with my family. It's great, but it also means that there is always someone around making noise and interrupting and being in the way, and that's fine. That's you know what family is supposed to be. But it means that I stay up super late to get things filmed. And then, you know, I still have to be on and mom the next day. And that can be hard. Like, that can be very hard. So this is, you know, this is kind of nice that I'm getting this filmed. You know, it's not super early in the morning now. I had to get kids out of the door to camp and off to work, and I had to get my husband off to work, and I had to talk to the camp driver because I've got to pick my little one up early today for an appointment. Guys, tomorrow is my littlest's birthday. She is going to be 11. And I am not a mom who gets super sentimental about things like, oh, you know, my youngest one's getting older or this and that. I just don't, like, I guess my philosophy with kids is that we raise them to make them good citizens, to put them out into the world, you know, to make sure they have the skills that they need to thrive and survive, not to keep them. And so I don't generally have an issue with kids getting older and doing those things that older kids are supposed to do. And I don't have one this time either. But it just astounds me that, you know, this little one that I can, like, one of my favorite memories of her, and this is so, it was not intentionally mean. It was mean, but it was not intentionally mean. She had went down for a nap, and so we went outside. It was early or late summer, I don't remember. It was not so hot that I wanted to melt. And we had left her inside napping, and it never occurred to us, because we have this big, like, sliding French patio door, and so you can see, like, all of our patio furniture and stuff from the doors. And so it's like you walk up to the doors and there we are, right? It did not occur to us that she would wake up and not be able to find us and, like, freak out. So my favorite picture of her is, like, she woke up and it was warm enough that either we did not put her in jammies or she took them off. That part I don't remember. But she is in nothing but her diaper with her like binky in her mouth, standing at the patio door, just like bawling. And it was so cute. Guys, it was just so cute. And I know that sounds horrible, but I mean, she was plastered against it like she was a little cartoon character that had like slid down the wall, and was just, it was so cute. So, yay, rounds. So yeah, that is one of my favorite, memories of her, and just, she was so little and she's not now. At our last doctor's appointment, she is 5 foot tall and she is going into the 6th grade. Now I am 5'5". My husband is 5'5", 5'6", depending on what shoes he's wearing. She is going to outgrow both of us before she, hits middle school. And so, which is great. It's great to have somebody in the house who's tall enough to reach things on the top shelf. But I remember her as being a baby, and it is absolutely traumatic to me that she's not gonna be a baby anymore. But also I am so incredibly proud. 9:21 of the human being that she is turning into, and it is awesomeness. So yesterday her sister went to play soccer and then go swimming with some friends, and yesterday was also food day for her sister's snake. So she asked my youngest if she would be willing to feed the snake and stuff for her, because she doesn't do that until the afternoon. And she didn't want to get him off his schedule. And when we bought this snake, they told us he had not had a shed in the I want to say it was like 4 or 6 or more months that the snake had been with them. And so we figured, okay, he's going to be a slow grower, which is fine. He's just going to stay a little guy and it'll be all good. So we get him home, we get his enclosure set up. And actually we brought the enclosure and all this stuff home and got it all set up and let it heat up and kind of cycle through before we picked up Zero. That's what she named him. And so he had a nice, safe environment to be in when he got here. And anyway, he's not stopped shedding. Like, this boy has done nothing but shed since like 2 weeks after we got him home. And so I made I made my daughter talk to the vet. I was pretty certain about what the vet would say, but I made her talk to the vet, because that's, part of pet ownership, is that you have to advocate for your pets and make sure things are okay. And so basically it was, he was not being fed adequately. He didn't have adequate space. The enclosure that he was in was really, really small. We got him a huge enclosure, and he didn't have room to climb and move and all of that. And so now that he is in a space where he's happy, he's healthy, he's well taken care of, he always has food, he always has water. I mean, he doesn't always have food. She feeds him once a week, but still. He's able to go through that process of growing, the way he's supposed to. And so he is living, excuse me, seriously, he is living his best little snake life. So all of that to say that she did not want to disrupt his feeding schedule. So she asked the youngest if the youngest would feed him for her. Because the oldest daughter will have nothing to do with him. She is not a snake fan, and that's okay. She does not need to be. So she's like, yeah, I'll take care of it. So, MD walks LD through the whole process, whatever. They get it panned out. It's great. Fast forward to when feeding time comes, and I've made sure that LD, is doing everything according to instructions, because, I want happy, healthy reptiles as well. One of the things that LD did not get from the instructions, or maybe MD forgot to tell her, I don't know. Anyway, very long story short, she put the heating lamp on the floor and burned a hole through our floor. Thankfully, the house did not get set on fire, and it is all good in that arena. But yeah. All right, so she burned a hole in our floor, and came up. She was all sorts of teary-eyed, and was like, she immediately told us what she had done. And so I was like, okay, well, you created a problem. You need to fix it. I was like, research how to get burn marks off the floor. And honestly, I didn't think it was a burn mark. I thought it was like the soot and stuff from the rim of the heat lamp. And I thought she would just, have to clean the floor and it'd be fine. No, she had like the entire surface part of the laminate floor, like in the circle of the heat lamp, like melted. So we do have some extra flooring. So she is going to get to learn all about how to cut out pieces of the floor, and how to measure to get the perfect fit, and how to replace the adhesives and all that good stuff. Coffee break. But I was so impressed by the fact that she, just came in and was like, hey, this happened. I don't know how to fix it. And, she asked for help. And she asked at one point, because she was like, why am I not in big trouble? And so I asked her, I'm like, well, did you tell me the truth about what happened? And she was like, yes. And I'm like, did you intend to do the did you intend to, burn a hole in the floor? And she was like, no. And I'm like, well, then why would we be super mad at you when what you did was clearly an accident? You owned it as soon as it happened. You did your best to try and fix the situation. And as it turns out, that situation's going to take a little bit more than we thought to fix. And when we explained to you what would have to happen for that situation to get fixed, you were, readily willing to do what it took. And you even said, like, you would tell middle daughter what happened, and because, it was your mistake, so you needed to own it. What is there to be really mad about? Like, you've done everything that somebody could ask you to do to fix a mistake. And so we learned some amazing lessons yesterday. And I am just very, very proud of the young lady that she is growing into. So she makes my heart proud. There we go. So there's that. And then middle daughter took driver's ed she took a driving class the other day. So it's one of those classes where you take it and then they, at the end of class, if you pass the test, excuse me, you get your permit. And so she did. So she is now a permitted driver. And she tried to prank me and be like, hey, I failed. They're not gonna let me have my permit. And I knew that she was pranking me because she is not a kid that fails a test. If she cares about it, at all. And so I was just, when she told me, she was like, I failed. I'm like, yes. And she was like, what? And I was like, now I don't have to pay insurance on you. This is awesome. I'm so glad that we put you through the class and you didn't pass. So now we'll wait another year and try again. And she was like, and I'm like, we're going to save so much money. And she stops for a minute. She's like, I have my permit. And I'm like, I know. I know. And she was not pleased with my deductive reasoning. And that's okay. But I had a great time. So She failed on the prank side of things, right? But she is now a permitted driver. So yay for her. We really got to get our oldest to get that going. She needs to learn to drive. These are the squares. Okay. So I'm not putting those in with these. Okay. I am getting towards the end, and my brain is doing that thing where it's like, we only have this many left. We're gonna move on and think about something else. And it's like, no, don't quit on me now. Because that's how issues happen. But no, I was thinking last night about the amount of plastic waste. I mean, like, look at this pile that we have with this hobby. And I don't know if there are other hobbies that have this kind of like plastic waste to them. Because I don't do all the other hobbies. But I know we have an insane amount of plastic waste with diamond painting. And I don't know, does anybody have any thoughts on what we can do to help with that issue? I feel like we have less plastic waste when things come already kitted up for us in the individual baggies. I feel like these little big, like the little bitty bags that they send, I feel like the drills are better in them. Like I tend to have less waste and I tend to have less trash. And so I do feel like maybe the bags of the little bitty ones are slightly higher quality, or maybe it's easier for them to be inspected and ensure that there is, less of all the nonsense in them. But I also feel like it's an insane amount of plastic waste. And so I don't love that. I don't love that at all. I don't know though. When they come already kitted up, they're in the plastic bags. I know a lot of people, work straight out of the plastic bags. I don't. But I mean, just because I don't do something doesn't mean other people shouldn't. And so I know that would help if companies would just start going ahead and kitting things up in the bags. But I don't feel like that's a perfect solution, because I feel like when you're done, there's still, now I fully realize that you can use, those little bags for something else, but does anybody? I mean, legitimately, does anybody? Because I don't know anybody who uses them for other things. Now, I guess it could be a situation where they use them to, store extra drills and things like that. and that might be a great solution. But I don't know, there's so much plastic waste. Here, I only have one piece left, we'll just use it. And it bothers me how much waste we have with this. And I wish there was some sort of conversation we could have as a community and come up with some sort of viable solution that's cost effective for the companies, so they'd want to use it, is good for the environment, so that we wouldn't have this, non-recyclable, just overconsumption of plastic. And I am going to take a tangent for just a second. I apologize that you guys don't get the super satisfying pours that you probably like to watch these for. I am left-handed, and unfortunately that means that I do things backwards compared to what a lot of people are able to do in terms of what you can see. Now, hopefully when I get the new camera set up, that will no longer be an issue. I feel like these are just way lighter than these. No, not necessarily. And dye lots. I mean, it is what it is. So, okay. Back to the plastics issue. But yeah, I feel like we make so much trash. And there's no need for it. Or at least I say that. I don't know what other options there are. I am not an expert on that end of the spectrum of diamond art things. I am not an expert on any spectrum of diamond art things. I just, I feel like it is a bit ridiculous in terms of what we're doing and what we're getting. So, I don't know. If you guys have some better solutions, I would love to hear them. In the meantime, I guess we just continue doing what we do. But, we get one planet, and despite the Sci-Fi Channel's, most wild dreams, I don't foresee us, changing that anytime soon. So we should probably do something to kind of help it, if we can, I am not a fanatic about recycling and things like that. I know people that do find it vitally important, and I recycle what I can. We cardboard boxes, aluminum cans, things like that. So even just doing these in something recyclable. Apparently that is not a word we're saying today. Would be awesome. Get out. There we go. But I don't know. So, that is my rant for the day, I guess. I don't love the plastic consumption issue that diamond painting seems to have. Also, the cardboard waste that comes with all the boxing, and I love, I shot that at myself. I saw in a video, and I think it was the principal painter, she was showing some older, like, craftability paintings, and they came in these, like, hard plastic carryable containers, and I was like, that's genius. But again, there's overconsumption of that as well. Like, do you really need one of those for each painting? Well, no, like, having one in order to, like, travel with your paintings from place to place and have them stay safe is awesome. Having, 18 of them because you've ordered canvases from people is a little over the top. Now, I guess those could be donated to colleges and universities for art students or architecture students or people like that need something to carry their art or their blueprints in. And, college students are notoriously poor. That would be awesome. But still, it's just, I don't know, it's so much, right? So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of me getting rid of all of these extra drills. And by getting rid of, I mean putting them in my stash so that if I need them or I want to use some sort of, decorative thing going on, or if I run out of drills, which I did actually do. I've never ran out of drills on a kit before, but I ran out of drills for a DAC canvas that I had bought on a D-stash site. They came in like the blue trains or the gray trains or whatever. And one of the train bags was empty. And it hadn't been cut in any way. It hadn't been altered in any way. It just, there was a mistake and it wasn't filled. Which generally speaking would not be an issue because there's a warranty and you can just call them, email them, what have you, and they'll send you out new ones and it's no big deal. But buying from D-stash sites voids that warranty. So I popped into my drill stash and I believe that I have enough to cover what I need for that canvas. If not, I will look into, how do I get extra drills some other way. But this has come in handy. My kids like to use the extra drills to do things like decorate wooden signs and bling out stuff, and that's fine. They know they are welcome to come in and get whatever colors they want and things like that. Because as I do more kits, more colors go in, and so it does not bother me even a little bit if they're in there using those drills. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That is all I have for you on this wonderful Monday. Please do all the YouTubey things, like, subscribe, comment, right? And have the day that you deserve, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see you on the flip side.